Hi, I'm Reinhard Moers. I'm a holistic executive coach. But today I want to talk to you about something that's probably not directly linked to my profession, maybe in an indirect way, but I think it's a difficult topic to talk about. It's probably affected most of us in some way or another, either through friends or self or family. And that's the topic of suicide. So I wouldn't call myself an expert on the topic, but I think it's an important topic to talk about. So I want to talk about it from a personal perspective. In my family, my own father committed suicide about 25, 26 years ago. And as you can guess, that was very difficult. It was difficult for me. It was difficult for my family. Even this past holiday season, I celebrate Christmas, around Christmas time. I was very sad. I cried. My children is old, at this stage old. My one son is 20, the other one is 16, going 17. They're great boys. But the thing I was sad about is that my father never met them. And I think he would have been so proud to have met them, and they're great kids. And although he met my wife, and that's great, And I think sometimes, it's you mourn or you're sad about what could have been, But so I want to talk a little bit about the topic. There's a lot of stigma around suicide. The word suicide in English comes from the Latin word Sui Caedere or Caedere. Not sure exactly how to pronounce it. There'll be a couple of Latin professors that might take me out on that, but that's not the point. The point means to kill oneself, which is in Afrikaans the word is selfmoord, or in German Selbstmord, to murder yourself. Now you can hear out of these words, there's such a stigma onto this, and that's why probably people don't want to talk about it. People who contemplate suicide, it's very difficult, probably because of the stigma. I've never contemplated suicide myself, but I guess I don't know. So that's what I heard from people who did. And that's why there's sometimes a lot of shame that goes around that from the person who feels like that or the family that it affects. But I think it's very important to talk about this and to destigmatize it. One of my mentors through the years, Professor Daniel Lowe, great man, he described it to me once as this. He said, and he used the Afrikaans word, he said, Reinhard, it's not selfmoord or suicide. He sees it as self-begrenzing, which means to draw one's own boundaries. And so maybe you draw the boundary where you want to end your life. Now there's different reasons why people commit suicide, and this video is not about the academic reasons behind it. There could be, from a, let's say, holistic perspective, there could be a clinical aspect to it. There's clinical depression. And with some medication, you can be helped. There could be a psychological element into it, that you are psychologically depressed, in a sense that you're emotionally down. And so, yes, you need some medicine, but you also need some counseling, and so there's a spiritual element. And a spiritual element I'm talking about, especially things that sometimes people overlook. They want to treat the depression, not always, but it has happened, But a lot of suicide that I've studied and talked to people about is a lack of meaning, a lack of purpose. They just cannot see the meaning of their life going forward, So what's the point of it all? And in a sense, that's an existential spiritual dilemma. People lose hope. That's and I think unless you tackle it from all these aspects, from the cognitive, the mental aspect, probably more in a sense of the strategy around it, so it's not a quick fix. It's not an easy thing to talk about, but it must be talked about. And maybe you feel like that, or somebody that does. Please talk to them. It's very important. You wouldn't want to be in a situation where you say, I wish I did talk to them, so maybe you feel like that and you think, I just don't know, they're probably better off without me. But they're not, I can promise you. There I was in December crying about my dad. It's never better off, so, well, it wasn't for me, and I think so many people, if they could speak, they would say exactly the same, so, please involve lots of people, and people who you can trust. Talk to your doctor, talk to your therapist, talk to your spiritual leaders, talk to your friends, but people you can trust. But talk to people. It's and in your family, it's just tread lightly with people who are depressed, who struggle with these things. Take people seriously, so that's what I want to talk about, the topic. Let's call it creating the boundaries to end your life, and destigmatize the word suicide. But it's very sad. So please, feel free to talk to people around you. Thank you very much.